If in doubt, flat out. 5 words that didn't just rewrite the rallying rulebook. They torched it, launched it off a jump, and crash landed it into legend. And it all started with this, the Subaru Impreza 555. A WRX on paper, but a rally-bred hooligan underneath. A missile in a family sedan's body. A wolf in WRX clothing. Today, it's an icon, but back then, Subaru made cars for accountants. Solid, sensible, forgettable. The kind of car you inherit, not dream about. Then came a wild Scotsman with a throttle for a right foot. He didn't just make the WRX cool, he made it dangerous. And in doing so, he transformed Subaru from quiet background character into a hero of the global stage. This is how Colin McRae broke the rules and built a legend. Modern rallying is chaos with a co-driver. They're flying down gravel roads at 100 miles per hour, guided only by phrases like left over 4 crest, into right 2 tightens, maybe don't die. Rally isn't racing on a tidy circuit. It's unpredictable, unforgiving, and constantly changing. 1 minute you're on gravel, the next you're sliding through snow or sand. It demands nerves of steel and instincts sharper than a co-driver's notes. It takes someone willing to fly over a blind crest without hesitation. Someone who'd rather risk it all than lift their foot. Someone who doesn't just survive the course, they attack it like it owes them money. Someone like Colin McRae. But before we meet him, here's how the sport works. When the World Rally Championship kicked off in 1973, it was less high-speed chess and more an international pub crawl through hell. Drivers went from frozen Scandinavian forests to the furnace of Kenya, all in one season. Snow, sand, mud, heat, monsoons. Pick your nightmare. Drivers race each other against the clock across multiple timed stages in each rally, often more than a dozen over a weekend. Each stage is a unique challenge, different surface, terrain, elevation, sometimes even weather. It's like sprinting through a maze where the walls move over and over again. Still, for years, rallying felt polite, gentlemanly, like racing, but with tea breaks. Then came the 1990s, and Subaru had a problem. They built reliable cars, dependable cars, cars you buy if you hate surprises. But nobody wanted one. They needed an edge, a weapon, a reason for people to care. So they turned to rally and started hunting for the kind of driver who didn't just survive chaos, but fed on it. Which brings us to the man himself. Enter Colin McRae. At 13, he was already flinging dirt bikes through the Scottish countryside, earning a motocross title and a reputation for fearlessness. His mother, in a plot twist only real life could write, decided that rallying would be safer. Yeah, about that. By 17, he was already throwing a Talbot Horizon around Scottish backroads in real rallies. Most teens would have been in full-blown code brown, swapping underwear like celebrities swap partners. But not Colin. Colin, he crashed, then won his class anyway. He spent weekdays fixing plumbing with his dad and weekends trying to break the laws of physics with a steering wheel. Every crash should have scared him straight. Instead, it just made him faster. 2 years later, he hit the world stage, the Swedish rally, in a car that looked more at home in a grocery store parking lot than a WRC grid. While seasoned pros were skidding off into snowbanks, Colin, in his little Vauxhall Nova, finished third in class. Not bad for a guy racing in what was basically a heated bread box. And sure, he wrecked a lot. They called him Colin McCrash. He wore it like armour. What made Colin different wasn't just raw speed. It was how he thought. While others approached corners with caution, Colin attacked them like they'd personally insulted him. He drove with instinct, improvisation, and that rare ability to feel the limits of a car without ever backing off. While others saw fear, Colin saw a dare. His motto was already forming: if in doubt, flat out. And in 1990, that madness paid off. At the RAC Rally, Colin finished 6th overall in a Ford Sierra, grabbing 3 stage wins and turning heads everywhere. That caught the attention of one man, David Richards, boss of Prodrive. He called up Colin with a simple offer: drive for Subaru, £10,000 a year. Spoiler, that might be the best investment in rally history. By 1993, Colin was dominating the British Rally Championship like it was a local karting league, strategically racing whilst prioritising the World Rally Championship. Then came his first WRC win in New Zealand, and Subaru's first too. Behind the scenes, Subaru's engineers had been cooking up something wicked. The Impreza 555, built on the WRX platform and perfect for Colin's all-gas, no-brakes driving style. It was part car, part war cry, and the rally world was about to hear it loud and clear. But here's the catch. To enter a car in the World Rally Championship, you can't just build a one-off race car in a lab and unleash it on the forest. The FIA requires homologation, a fancy word that basically means you want to race it, you've got to sell it. So manufacturers are forced to create production-going versions of their rally cars. That's why the WRX exists. Subaru needed to put a fast, turbocharged, all-wheel drive monster on the road just to legally enter it into rally. This rule accidentally gave the world some of the coolest street-legal performance cars ever made, and quietly handed the keys to the ultimate getaway ride. The WRX wasn't just fast and reliable, it became the car of choice for ram raids and high-speed escapes. But the Impreza 555? That was a different animal. It may have worn the skin of a WRX, like a certain Silence of the Lambs character, making fashion choices. But underneath, it was built to kill stages, not blend in. Stripped out interior, bigger turbo, massive ventilated discs, rally-hardened coilovers, close ratio gearbox, and a full roll cage, all tuned for one thing: total domination. It wasn't a street car dressed up for rally. It was a rally car wearing just enough WRX to pass for legal. A true wolf in sheep's clothing. And in Colin's hands, it became a rolling middle finger to the status quo. Suddenly, this quiet Japanese brand had become a talking point, not just in garages, but in magazines, TV ads, and teenage bedrooms. Posters of the Impreza 555 started appearing next to Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Subaru had gone from that brand your uncle drives to that brand Colin drives. And every win made it more real. And just when you thought it couldn't get spicier, in walked Carlos Sainz, 2-time world champion. Smooth, methodical, everything Colin wasn't. The scene was set, chaos meets control, and rally was never going to be the same again. By 1995, the Subaru Impreza 555 wasn't just fast, it was feared. Suddenly, every team in the WRC was chasing those blue and yellow missiles tearing through the forest, flinging gravel like artillery. Most of them were getting absolutely schooled. The Impreza had become rallying's version of bringing a lightsaber to a knife fight. Unfair, unstoppable, and absurdly cool. And at the heart of it all, 2 drivers, same team, same machine, very different ideas about how to win. On one side, Colin McRae, raw, relentless, a high-speed question mark in human form. On the other, Carlos Sainz, 2-time world champion, calm, calculated, a master of precision and patience. Together, they were supposed to bring Subaru its first world title, but they were also fire and ice, and the cracks were already forming. Early in the season, Sainz drew first blood. Monte Carlo, victory. Portugal, Another win. He was playing the long game, stacking points, building momentum. Colin? He was either on the podium or in a ditch, sometimes both in the same weekend. But when it worked, oh, it was glorious. His win in New Zealand was McRae unleashed, fast, fearless, and miles ahead of the field. While Sainz played chess, McRae was headbutting the board. But here's the twist. Fans loved both approaches. Sainz brought credibility, McRae brought electricity. And Subaru, they were riding the wave until the championship fight got personal. You could feel the pressure boiling by mid-season. Media hype, national pride, engineering tensions. Every rally wasn't just a stage, it was a statement. And then Catalunya happened. The team issued orders. Colin, hold position. Let Carlos win. It was the classic rally play. Manage the title hunt. Don't risk everything. But Colin didn't do managed. He didn't lift off the throttle when there was a chance to fly. And when the team literally waved him down on the final stage, he responded the only way he knew how. He downshifted and went faster. It was defiance in top gear. Subaru panicked. They threw officials at him, begged him to slow down. Eventually, Colin took a time penalty and gave the win to Sainz. But the damage was done. Back at the service park, sparks flew. The garage turned into a pressure cooker, with two world-class drivers ready to blow the lid off. That showdown wasn't just legendary, it was inevitable. Friendly teammates had become rivals. Rallying's clean-cut image shattered. Now everything came down to the final event of the year, Colin's home rally, Britain. The stakes couldn't be higher. Sainz had the experience, Colin had the country behind him, and the whole world was watching. The stage was set, Rally GB, Colin's home turf. Cold, wet, and wildly unpredictable, just how he liked it. But if the pressure had been simmering all season, now it was boiling over. The entire country was watching. Every pub TV, every morning paper, every muddy hillside was filled with people hoping, praying that Colin would deliver. And for a moment, it looked like it might all fall apart. Early on, disaster struck. A puncture, then suspension damage. He had to patch the car with whatever was lying around, including, reportedly, a literal log. The gap to Sainz, massive. The title, slipping away. The team begged him, just bring the car home. Settle, take the points. It's over. But Colin didn't come here to play it safe. He came to make history. So he did what he always did. If in doubt, flat out. What followed was one of the most ridiculous comebacks in motorsport history. Stage after stage, Colin clawed time back, seconds per mile, sometimes more. The Impreza flew through the Welsh forest like it was possessed. Rain, fog, broken suspension, none of it mattered. He was in full beast mode. Even Sainz, calm, clinical Sainz, was rattled. Colin wasn't just faster, he was rewriting physics. And then, he did it. He caught Sainz and passed him. And when the final timesheets came in, Colin McRae, World Rally Champion, the youngest ever, at 27, in front of his home crowd. That moment didn't just win him the title, it immortalised him. Colin had gone from wild Scottish upstart to legend. And Subaru, they rode the wave all the way. The Impreza became the rally car. 3 straight manufacturer's titles, a global cult following, every blue WRX with gold wheels sold afterward, pure McRae DNA. And Colin's influence didn't stop at the forest's edge. In 1998, Colin McRae Rally hit the OG PlayStation and changed everything. It wasn't just a game, it was a gateway drug. He insisted it be hard, punishing, and authentic. If players weren't crashing, they weren't doing it right. Millions of copies sold, establishing the Dirt franchise today. A whole generation learned about pace notes, handbrake turns, and Scandinavian flicks. From their bedrooms, McRae had brought rally to the masses. Even after 1995, he never won another world title. But he gave fans moments that no one else could. Like the 1999 Safari Rally. He didn't win a single stage and still won the entire event. Try doing that in any other sport. It's like winning a boxing match without throwing a punch. Whether he was in a Ford, Citroen, or a battered old Subaru, one thing never changed. He drove like there was no tomorrow. Colin didn't just redefine a car brand, he redefined what it meant to be a rally driver. And even now, decades later, every time someone flicks a WRX sideways or sends it over a crest with nothing but instinct and throttle, they're channeling a bit of him, because legends don't retire. They blaze through history, flat out. His mum thought she was steering him towards safety. Instead, she unleashed a force of nature. Speaking of racing legends who changed everything, wait until you meet Valentino Rossi, the Italian showman who took MotoGP by storm, won 9 world titles, and had more swagger than a grid full of champions. See you there.